What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here I have a 2007 Ford F-150 in crew cab. It is a very beautiful truck. Today we're going to do a little bit of painting on it, and the customer brought it to me because the roof, and I would assume this is a very common problem, especially if you don't have a garage. It's where the sun hits it the most throughout the day. And of course the clear coat starts drying up like that. It's of course waxed, maybe ceramic coated, reflect as much dirt particles. A lot of the times when dirt is here accumulated and throughout the night, the fog, the mist or whatever gets that dirt wet, it starts eating up the paint as well. So once either a rock chip, a scratch, or something penetrates the paint, and it reaches the metal starts oxidating, starts rusting, and then it starts lifting up the paint from underneath like this. So that's why you have a lot of bubbles with rust underneath. We're gonna have to strip all this to bare metal, and there's some places where it doesn't look that bad. You could just say like, I'll just sand it and spray some high build, but all these little specks means that it's oxidation from the rust. So if you throw some fresh paint over it, that rust can still form underneath and it'll bubble up your brand new paint. We're going to strip all this to bare metal. I have a tool that I got specifically for this. We'll see if it works or how it works. But that's pretty much the case for all of these. I guess it's where the water collects in here, especially if you don't move it. So a lot of rust. Check it out. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen one of these before. This is a burnishing tool, no brand. I got this from Amazon, and it came with a few extra rolls of this. And you can purchase these separately as well. So I'm going to go ahead and try this. I'll leave the link in the description for this one. I'm going to try it out, see how it works. This is my first time using one of these, so here's hoping for the best. Also, right here in the burnishing tool, it has the speed from 1 through 8. I'm just going to go ahead and start it at 1. That sounds pretty decent. We'll figure it out. So, okay. Get more RPM. That's at number 5. So it smooths out the clear, but it doesn't strip it off. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch out the brush, the roller. So we're gonna unplug it, and then we lock it right here. It's a bolt and washer. Pull these out. Right here you have the woodruff key or shank, one on each side. Check it out. And that's your shank. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this maroon one. Feels a little bit rougher. Try that again. Strip off some paint. So the machine works just as it should. The only thing, the attachments that it came with are not the right ones for what I'm doing. They do sell these separately. Some that come with sandpaper in between the scuff pad, or some that are like sandpaper all the way around. Um, in different grits, of course, but we can still use this. I just need to find a different way to remove the paint, which I brought one of these. I was looking for the aircraft remover, which I didn't find, so I brought this just to try it out. It's a quart, but this is clean strip premium stripper. So we're gonna apply this with a brush. I also have just a scraper, and I'm either going to sand it down with 80 grit sandpaper so we can create some scratches so the stripper can penetrate, or just use a sharp object just to scratch the paint. But I'm gonna go ahead and try this out just with the corner of the scraper. Alright guys, check it out. Paint is pretty much separated right there. I'm gonna try to scrape it. I'll apply some more paint stripper as it needs, but this one looks like it's ready, so I'm gonna use the scraper and just peel off the paint. Oh, nice. That's very good. This is bare metal already. We've got some rust spots, which we can clean up with that tool. And any remaining paint, we could also clean up with that tool. But I'm going to go ahead and just apply a little bit more paint stripper. So I'm done removing the paint, and what you see here is just the metal, and all of these little spots are rust. It's oxidation just forming underneath the paint. So it's a good thing that we cleaned it. There's still a lot of heavy rust, as you can see. So we are going to try to cure it or fix this, neutralize this rust before throwing any type of paint. On some of these areas, I was using the paint stripper, and I would just pour it in here. I would use the scraper, just scrape up the paint so it could absorb. And I was using the drill with the wire brush attachment, and I cleaned this up pretty good. The good thing is that there's no pinholes going inside the cab, so it's just like, it is heavy rust, but it's not broken in. But this is where the burnishing tool would come in handy. Once we fix these areas, we could just brush the surface, try to get rid of as much of these as we can. I also brought some, this is rust dissolver, and we're going to follow the directions and just try to clean up this areas. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and do this line. There's a bit of paint, but there's also a lot of rust. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray some of this gel on this section. The bottle says to remove surface tension, use just a little bit of water. So I'm just going to moisten up the metal, and then I'll spray the gel. And then I have 180 grit with a little sanding block, and I'm just going to sand just right here this inner part and see how that goes. There's a bit of heavy oxidation right here. The rest seems like it could be just like surface rust, but we'll find out soon. So let's go ahead and try it. Okay, so it did a pretty good job. It removed the majority of these little specks on the panel. You can still see here or there, just a couple of them. And these bigger ones, it turned them like a darker black. I am going to spray another coat, but I'm gonna do the same across the whole roof, just to clean it up like this. At the end of it, I am still going to use the burnishing tool just to clean it up just a little bit more. And then we'll continue with any paint. But so far, pretty good. Okay, so just a quick update. Things are going very good here on the roof. I finished removing the paint all the way to the front, on the edges as well. I went ahead and put some automotive tape. I double taped all the edges so no paint can get in there. I used 180 and 120 to strip the majority of the paint from the edges. Whatever I didn't use with the paint stripper, I sanded down. Not all the way to the edge. I'm going to use, the rust reformer and high build over this, but on the edge it's mostly like paint and clear. I also went ahead and used the Dremel and a grinding stone attachment, and I removed as much rust as I could from these areas. Everything now looks way better than what it was. And of course I had to use that gel, the rust dissolver, which should have neutralized the majority of the bigger spots. The roof is looking very good, which I'm still not done. I still need to brush it with the burnishing tool and the drum. I'm gonna use that, just brush the metal, but this is how it's going. Here's a quick update. I'm gonna go ahead and brush it with the burnishing tool, and then we'll compare how it was before to the finished product before paint. Okay, so here's our panel after being cleared of any rust, brushed with the burnishing tool. So let me show you the before. Take a look at this sheet metal. You can see all the spots right here of all the rust that was forming underneath the paint all the way through. Alright, we're ready to paint. Here's the truck all wrapped in plastic. Right now I'll come back, cover up the wheels with some more plastic. I also built this table, and it's gonna help me, reach the roof with a pretty big truck, pretty tall. This is 2 feet by 8 feet, and it is 30 inches tall. So the size of the tires pretty much. I couldn't make it any thinner because it'd be too tall and the chance like it could tip over. So this is the size that I came up with, 2 feet. And 2x4 frames, lots of wood glue, lots of screws, and it is pretty firm. Little step right here, and check it out. Plenty of space to walk up here. Here's the toolbox. You can reach from this side all the way to this side, and we can get pretty close. We'll reach at least half the roof, and then we'll push this table to the other side and paint the other half. This is 24 inches wide, so my garage is pretty small. So it doesn't go around the front end, and there's no space in the back. So my only option is to open up the doors and pull the table out and then bring it in to the other side and then paint the other half. No big deal, it takes a few seconds to do. But other than that, pretty solid table. After I'm done with here, I'll probably use it for other things. Okay, so Rust Reformer. This is by Rust-Oleum, and it says instantly converts rust to a protected paintable surface. And right here in the back it says instantly bonds with rust and transforms it to a non-rusting flat black paintable surface and prevents future rust. It saves you the effort of sanding rust all the way down to bare metal, which I think I did a pretty good job cleaning up the metal up there. So the good news is that this Rust Reformer, works pretty good, and it laid down pretty good. I only sprayed 1 coat. The bad thing is that I don't have the video clip to show you guys. Reason is I was using my old phone so that I don't get any overspray on my new phone. So I was using my old phone, and check it out. I had it in a tripod right here, and it was a good angle. It was zoomed and it was just a good angle. So since I had to move the bench left and right, so I didn't want to stop to move the camera as well. So I sprayed this side, moved the bench to the other side, sprayed the other one. So it was just one coat that I was able to do and just one clip after I turned off the camera. And to me, I'm thinking everything's going great. I set the camera over there on top of the toolbox on the opposite side, and just one angle. Again, I didn't want to move the camera while I'm painting, so I just left it recording. So I paint this side and then I go to the other side. So when I go back to inspect the videos, to my surprise, I cannot find them. Hit the gallery, they're not there. The only way I could find them was going to the camera and then going to the previous pictures or whatever, and they're there, but I cannot share them to this phone. I even connected it to my computer, and again, I couldn't take them out. So the best thing I could do was just record the other phone, and you might see that painting this high build primer. Just the first coat I learned after that, so I used this one for the second coat, but you might see the difference. Let me go ahead and show you guys the primer. So this one's by Yupo. It's a high build primer. There's the model number, and this one's color gray, but you can get this in white, gray, or black. I like the way it stands, but also tintable up to 10% urethane mixing base. So I've never tried tinting the primer, but that's really cool. Also, it can be applied direct to metal over most prepared plastics, aluminum, galvanized, and unsanded e-coat. And then right here we have some mixed ratios. It's a 4:1. Apply 1 to 2 coats with a 1.7 to a 2.0 tip. 15-minute flash between coats. Really good primer. I like this one. I've used it several times, and I like the way it builds. And when you sand it down, it's easy to sand, and the surface is just awesome. So high build, pretty thick. I'm using the slow hardener. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix. Right here I have my mixing cups, some filters, and I think that's it pretty much. I'm going to use the Spectrum, but this time I'm going to use the HVOP 1.7. Over here I have the HTE, that's the 1.3 for base coats, clears, and stuff like that. This one's for high build with the 1.7. Alright, so here's the surface one more time. This is after the first coat. I already have the spray gun ready with primer for another coat. Just reduced just a little bit. So I'm going to set you guys in a tripod and we'll get spraying. This is the second coat of the high build primer. So I'm going to go ahead and sand it again with the Acrylics K600, which is the sky blue. Just a microfiber. And I'll set you guys in a tripod, put you guys in a time lapse, and we'll get this done, get it ready for paint before the end of the day. So finished sanding with 600, and I also put this paper right here Since the primer is already drying, I don't want it flaking on top of the new paint. So I'm going to put some paper in front and on the other side as well. Here's the paint, and the paint code is T7 Charcoal Beige for Ford. Now this paint code, you can find it on the door. On the door there's a sticker that has like some information: tire size, the VIN number, and the exterior color trim. So right there is where you'll find the code. If your paint is for like a side panel that you want it to match really well to the other panels, that you have to do a blend, take your VIN number as well, you know, because sometimes there's variants, like shades lighter or darker from the factory, or sometimes depending on the year, if it's been out in the sun and it already looks a little faded, like lighter or whatever, you can choose like one or two like variants lighter or so. This is just regular Nason, so this is just by the code, no variants, just, you know, it's gonna be for the roof, so we don't have to blend anything. The rest of the truck is fine. Alright guys, I took the truck out this morning and I've just let it sun bake. Right now it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's had all morning plus all night. But here's the color, very beautiful. This is the Charcoal Beige T7 by Ford. Very beautiful color. Now there is just a small bit of orange peel on the clear coat, but this is too soon, well, at least for me, to sand and polish. I like to wait at least a couple of weeks, you know, just air drying, sun baking, whatever, before I sand for polish. But the owner does need the truck back, so this is very good as it is right now. If he wants to later on, he can bring it back to me and I can do the you know, the cut and buff. But other than that, check it out, an LED third stoplight just to complete the whole paint job. And here's another angle of the paint. Very nice color, and it matches pretty well to the rest of the cab. Now this was what I was talking about in variants. If you take your VIN, right here, I don't know if this one looks just a little bit darker than this one. They both have that beige color, but I don't know, maybe because it's new paint, but that's what I was talking about, variants. If you take your VIN, it'll tell you which shade they use from factory, and Another thing, this is the hood is separate from the rest of the cab all the way. So if it was like a solid panel that I would have to blend, you might not even notice the difference. I'll clean that right now. But yep, very nice color. Here's the other side. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave some comments and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.